let me put my recording on. Okay, so I'm super excited because tonight I want to talk to you guys about, yes, Instagram, yes, engagement, but I think in a different way than maybe you might have heard of before. And so I'm excited about that because I hope that it gives you guys some just understanding of different things that you can do. And like anyone can control this. Anyone can do this from the very, very beginning. And I think that's what I love so much about it. And so this is stuff that I've been in a mastermind for a few weeks now, and it has been absolutely incredible. And it's given me a lot of insight into engagement and how do you control that. Like, I can't tell you how many times I get questions about how do I get more followers? How do I get more engagement on my posts and things like that? And I'm sure you, like, by a raise of hands, how many of you are so tired of hearing follow this many people and make sure you comment on all this stuff. And while all that is still important, you know, we do have to grow and that kind of thing. There's a lot of other things that you can do too. And this stuff that I'm going to teach you guys tonight has created so much excitement in me. I absolutely love all of the things that I've been learning about what actually creating engagement looks like and how you can control that by what you're actually putting out there. And so I hope that some of these little tips and tactics are going to help you. First, we're going to start out a little bit quickly, and I'm going to kind of just help you prime your Instagram account real quickly. And then we're going to move into all the content. So if you're ready, get your notepads out because I've got a lot to share, and I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible so that we're able to get it all in and you guys aren't here for like over an hour. Okay. So if you have any questions as we're going, please just let me know. Drop it in the chat and I will be happy to answer as we go. So I want to help you guys tonight really clearly define who you're serving and also help you learn how to create engaging content on your Instagram feed. So right now, I want you to go into your profile on Instagram, and then I don't want you to be on Instagram anymore after this. So go into your profile, and I want for you just to screenshot it, okay? So just screenshot your profile that you're at right now. I want to see what your bio looks like. I want to see your profile picture. I want to see your follower count. I want to see everything like it is. And just take a screenshot of it and just have that saved in your camera roll. I also want you to go then to the 3 top lines on the top right. So you see those 3 little lines on the top right of the screen. You're going to click that. Then I want for you to click on Insights. And then once you go there, I want you to click on Audience. And I want you to write down how many followers you have. That's a way to see like the actual amount specifically of the followers that you have. So I gave you little screenshots on here too to show you, but you're going to click those 3 lines, click on Insights, and then click on Audience and write down the followers that you have. Okay. Now, this is the last thing that we're going to do before we move forward. I want for you to look at your last 5 pictures. Okay. So go back to your profile, you know, click your little circle, look at your last 5 pictures and just jot down how many likes did you get on each of those? Okay, so just each of the last photos, if you got, 20 likes, 100 likes, whatever it was, write down the last 5 posts that you've made and what the count of likes was on that. And if you guys know how to average, obviously add them up and divide them. Okay, and I want you just to kind of write down the average of how many likes you get on your photos. And then the last thing I want you to do is write out the average amount of comments. So you can look at your comments and kind of just gauge where it says view all 20 comments or view all whatever comments, and write that down for the last 5 of your posts as well. Okay, this is going to be something for you to start with so that you can see your growth over the course of however many months that you start to implement some of these things that I'm about to teach you. I'm going to look at the chat really quickly before we move on. Okay, some of you guys, if you are watching this and you don't have your account set up, that's a valid point. If you guys don't have your account set up as a business or as a creator page, then you will not be able to see this yet. And you need to set it up like that from this point on, but you're still going to be able to use everything that I'm sharing with you. So if you don't have a business account or a creator account, then you probably don't see what I'm talking about. So thank you guys for clarifying. All right, let's move on. So we're going to prime your profile real quickly here right now. Someone is not muted. Let's see. All right. So we're going to prime your profile real quickly. And a lot of this stuff you guys may have seen before, some of it. And then we're going to use that because in order for you guys remember that your profile, your Instagram, that's your storefront, right? So when people come there, you want it to be clear, concise, and very, very true to what you are here to do, who you are serving, what you're doing. So if it's not, and you start to put out all this awesome content, it's not going to match your profile. So the very first thing is, this is not something for you to do right now, but just jot down some notes for your bio. You really want to clean it up. Again, most of you guys know this, but have a really clear picture. I don't want to see pictures of you and your family necessarily, or you and your dogs, or you and your spouse. You want it to be you, a close-up picture of you that represents who you are. Okay, good lighting. If you don't have good lighting, go outside, prop it up on a window, and that's a super easy way to do it. And then I want for you to start thinking of, do you have any unique things about you? Are you a twin mom? Do you have Irish twins? Are you a farmer's wife? Have you written a book? Have you ever worked for someone super cool? Think of some things that would make you unique and stand out amongst anyone else who's doing this business alongside you. Okay, so just be thinking about this. And you might be like, I have no idea, and that's okay. I'm just giving you some ideas of how we can kind of prime your bio and make it a little bit clearer. And I'm going to give you guys some examples. So the next thing you want to be thinking about is the transformation that people are going to achieve when they come to your page. What are you going to help them achieve? Where are they at right now, and who are they going to be after? So, this is my bio right now. This is how I've changed it within my mastermind class that I'm in. And it's changed and evolved oh my gosh, for so many years, and it's always changing. But this is currently what it is right now. I personally have another brand, so I wanted to keep that on there. But my transformation is, I'm a mama of 3. I'm finding sanity, not vanity, through fitness. And then we're going to go to this next part of, what do you believe? That I'm here to help mamas step into their purpose and thrive in body, spirit, and mind. I'm not trying to reach the masses. I'm trying to reach moms. I'm trying to reach a very specific group of people. So as you're priming your profile, you want to be thinking about all of these things. What is it that you want to help people achieve when they come to your profile? And that's going to really feed into also what you begin to share in some of the things that we're going to talk about as far as content goes. So just be thinking about that. What kind of things would you want to put on there? What are the core values that you and the people that you're wanting to attract and connect with are there for? And a good way to think about this, a good way to kind of think about what you want to add on there is like, what kind of problems do you want to fix in the world? I know that sounds kind of silly, but what are some of the issues that you've seen in women that you're wanting to help? What kind of change do you want to see in the world? For me, one of the big things that I am like super passionate about is women not believing in themselves, women thinking that it's selfish to take time for them to work out, even, though they have a family, women who don't have any belief in themselves, who don't think that who they think that it's selfish. They have that mom guilt over doing something for themselves. And so my main goal is to help women thrive and find their purpose, even in the midst of motherhood. And so that's my thing. That's my platform. That's what I want to help people do. And so that's for you to figure out as well. What makes you tick? What do you want to change about the people that you are connecting with? What do you want to help them see and help share with them as you go on this journey? And then the last thing you're going to have on your profile is obviously a call to action. Okay, so you want to have something there. So for my women, they can come here and say, okay, finding sanity through not vanity through fitness. She helps moms step into their purpose and thrive in body, spirit, and mind. And I have a little arrow pointing down. Really simple way to do a call to action. I'm like pointing to them at the link that I want them to go to. You could also say, like, if you're trying to share something really specific, maybe it's a free PDF that you made. And so maybe you say, need free accountability, click here or click below. But a call to action, you guys, is very simple like that. And if you don't have anything made, you don't have something to give people, you don't have anything specific, this is not the place for your Beachbody link. This is the place for something that you could create tonight, like a link tree, like a little milkshake website, or if you've been on other training calls about Instagram and such, we've talked about creating a very website. But basically, you want to have a place that people can go to get more information. So here is what I want you to ask yourself. If you look at your bio right now, the screenshot that you took, okay, is it clear what you provide people? Is it clear what they are getting from you on your account? Do the pictures, if you look at your last, 6 to 9 pictures that you've shared, are you like all over the place in what you're sharing about? You're sharing about like 10 different things, to where someone comes to your page and they see your bio, but then they look at your feed and they're like, huh? Like, I have no idea what I'm going to get because there's no consistency. Or do they come to your page and they really see motherhood tied into everything? They see fitness and wellness tied into everything. Think about those things. You want to kind of create this cohesiveness. And so in 10 seconds of people coming to your page, you want them to be very, very clear on who you are. None of this, I'm all about faith, fitness, and food. You don't want it to be super vague like that. There's tons of those accounts like that. So how can you be different? What is different about you? And if you're thinking there's not anything, there is, I promise you. And that's where your unique tilt comes in of what is it that you want to change in this world? What is the thing that makes you just tick that you want to change in the people that are coming to your page? So obviously I gave you my example. This is an example of somebody who's in the mastermind class with me. And she sells obviously a program, a product. So you guys may have heard of her. So she's got something kind of catchy, sales is more than just money, honey, if she's kind of sassy and silly like that. And so that works for her. And her transformation that she's helping people with is going from salesy to serving. And then obviously she has something for people to purchase to get the playbook right now that she has. It's something free. It's a freebie. And so it says your next level just got easier. Download the playbook. And that's something that can change. So you can see how simple it is. I come there, I see a great picture of her. I know what she's doing. I know the transformation of what people want to do. And there's how I get connected with her, right? Okay, so this was really quickly, and I know I'm breezing through this, but I want to switch gears now. So after this call, take time to go look at your profile and watch this back. I'll send the PDF as well, but go back through. And I want you to look at each of those things and really get your profile feeling good so that when people come to your page, you're really confident that they know what you're all about. You're really confident that they know that you are here to serve them in this way. And that now that you feel accomplished and you feel like you've got a really great, solid profile, you can go forward from there and creating really awesome content for them. Okay, so this is where it's like, all the good stuff. Okay. So we're going to talk about content creation. Now, this is something so different than I feel like we get in Beachbody. I don't know that I've really had a lot of trainings, a lot of Instagram trainings per se, that aren't a lot about share this and share that and follow this many people and like this many photos. I'm sure you guys have gotten a lot of trainings like that, right? And so I hope that this one is a little bit different in the way of why is doing this going to actually create more engagement and longevity in the amount of followers that you have, the people who stay around and the people who share you with their friends. So when we're creating content, when we're talking about Instagram, and obviously this could work for Facebook too, but I think a lot of us are primarily on Instagram. So I want for you to think about and remember that everything you post should be in direct relation to what people are asking you for. So you're here on Instagram now. Newsflash, this actually isn't about you anymore. I know we talk about sharing our story like it's a journal and kind of documenting our life and our things that we do to better our lives and ourselves. And that is still very true. However, there's a way to share that in a way that is serving other people and serving them in how they need to be served. So I want for you guys to get really super, super good at listening over just speaking first. So listening is learning. And when you listen to the feedback of the people who are already on your page, the people who are already here, that's going to give you a lot of opportunity for some feedback and also ideas of how you can get really specific with creating content for them from what they share with you. So a great way to do this is obviously polls. And I'll share a couple of things with you guys in a minute of a poll that I did. And I asked my followers 2 questions. I did one, and I said, what is the main thing that keeps you from wanting to join my team, from wanting to join me as a coach, or from wanting to be an influencer like I am? And I just put a question box, so not a poll, question box. I put a question box, and it was amazing to get the responses that I did and to see how simple they were and to see what their apprehensions were, what their fears were, what their problems were with it. And that gave me a really great, solid list of problems to work from. The other one that I did right after that, or maybe a day after, I can't remember, was very similar, but it was about my accountability groups. And I said, what is the thing that holds you back from joining me in one of my accountability groups or my wellness community? However you want to pin it, or joining me in a boot camp. What is the one thing that stops you from actually joining me? And it was awesome again to get a handful of so many similar responses. And it gave me so many good ideas of, oh my gosh, that is content that I can share. That is a post that I can make that speaks exactly to what their problems are. So I want for you to take a minute and we're going to brainstorm, okay? Because this is going to help you when you leave this call. And when we start to create some really awesome content and your pages just get all the more better, right? So I want for you to think about the people who are following you, okay? Or the people, maybe if you don't have a lot of followers, who do you want to be following you? Okay, what are they posting about? Are they posting about their children? Are they posting about food? Are they like what? Like just who are they? Right? Obviously, we're going to serve them through Beachbody and such, but what are they posting about? What stuff do they reshare? Are they sharing funny memes? Are they sharing really emotional, deep posts? Do they share funny like mom jokes or like funny business jokes? Do they share, entrepreneur type things? Are they, sharing TikToks? Like what is it, right? What do they share about? What do they share that they're struggling with? If they comment on stuff or they maybe talk to you in a DM or you're just kind of getting a general sense for the people who follow you, what are they struggling with? Like for me, the people who follow me are mostly posting about, their family, their kids, their work, their hobbies, things that they reshare, mom jokes, all the funny mom things, right? And inspiring and empowering quotes. My people aren't super funny people, but they're ones who really genuinely enjoy something that hits them right in the heart, like right when they need it. What are they struggling with? My people are, man, they're struggling with mom guilt. They're struggling with just feeling guilt over doing anything for themselves and trying to be, work and trying to be wife and mom and all the other hats that they wear. So those are some of their problems. Those are some of the things that they're struggling with. So I want for you to take like 1 minute and I want for you to jot down a list of your people's problems. What are some problems that you think or that you maybe already know that your people, your market has already? And I'm going to share something with you too, some responses from when I did this post or did this poll. Can you guys see this list right here of main hesitations? I don't know if y'all can see that or not. So when I did this, it was crazy to me. Hesitations about joining my team as a coach, so many things, lack of self-esteem. I can totally do a post about that. Time it costs, money invested, fear that I could never do what you do. I don't have a big enough following, putting myself out there on social media. So many things that were fears, so many things about fear of not succeeding, so many fears about a lack of drive, like I don't think I can do what you do because you do so much, being too shy, putting myself out there is scary. I mean, the list goes on, right? But there were so many that were very, very similar too, and these were just some of them that I pulled. And then hesitations and problems about fear about joining my own community and accountability, lack of fear of what others may think of me, the amount of money, a lot of fear about what people think of me, a lot of lack of self-belief, self-confidence, all things that we as coaches are bettering because of what we do, right? You guys could post and talk about all of these things. So let me go back to my other screen that I want to share. So that's what I want for you to brainstorm. And maybe you took a couple ideas from what I just shared, and that's perfect. But I want for you to think about what are the problems that your people have, because now your job really, yes, it's to share your journey. Yes, it's to show up and show your consistency and all of that. But now your big job on your feed, on what you post about and what you share in your post, is really to create content that speaks to them, to lay to rest their biggest problems, their biggest fears, and what they need. And you guys, it might not be related to fitness and health and fitness. One of my big things that people struggle with is morning routine. I can't get all this done in a day. I can't do this and I can't do that. And you guys, all I needed to do was share an IG live video where I talked about my morning routine, which is like super duper simple, and I gave them some little step-by-step points. And it's like gotten 40,000 views on IGTV because that's what my people needed. So think about that. I listen to them. That has nothing to do with what I do. That has nothing to do with getting them to sign up for Beachbody, right? but it has something to do with what they need. And so this is what I want for you guys to start thinking about. And I want for it to excite you, because it should be stuff that you can so easily speak to, because you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I can create a post about that. Like, no more worrying about what to post. No more worrying about, oh my gosh, I haven't posted 3 times today, right? Post a couple times a week, but post valuable stuff. That is what your people need to hear, because this is the stuff that matters. Okay, so this is where your mind's going to be blown, because this is where you might get overwhelmed, but you shouldn't. Okay, so this is something that I learned. I think Kinsley is on here too, but she's in a mastermind with me as well, and we had the honor of learning from a woman named Shannon Monson, and she's the owner of Icon Method on Instagram. So if you guys want to check her out, feel free. But she is monumentally amazing and totally blew my mind in the way of creating content. Like, show of hands or message in the chat, how many of you struggle with how to even craft a post, right? Or how many of you struggle with, like, I literally don't even know what to say or how to share what I want to, right? So I hope that this makes it super exciting and really manageable for you. Okay. And it might feel overwhelming. And so just start little by little, right? Just try to make one post a week with this formula. Okay. So this is called the HICA formula: hook, intro, content, call to action. Okay. So I'm going to dive into all this, and just bear with me. I had to write myself a bunch of notes so I could even like touch the surface of doing this justice. Okay. So a hook, you guys, a hook is something that draws people in. I'm sure you probably can think of a post, or think of someone that you've read a post of, that you read that first line of their post and you like couldn't stop reading, right? Because you're like, I have to see what happens next. And so a hook is something that draws people in, like hello English 101, right? So these are unpopular opinions. These are bold statement, raising questions, basically starting in the middle of your story for the very first part of your post. Don't worry, I'm going to give you an example. So in the beginning of your post, you want to connect with them. You want them to be like, well, wait, why is she crying? Or wait, what happened? Or why did she say that to her husband? You don't want to actually close the story right there. You don't want to tell them right away what it is that you're going to talk about in this whole entire post, but you want to just hook them in, just give them a tiny, tiny little bit. So an example would be, okay, so say I want to talk about when I decided to become a coach, right? And I'll tell you the story, and then we'll start with the hook. So I remember I was sitting at home with my husband. I was on the couch, this horrible couch that our dog used to lick the side of, and it felt like pleather. And I remember sitting there grossing out about the couch and just crying, like wondering, what in the world am I going to do? Like, I don't want to teach anymore. I don't want to go back to work. We want to have a baby. How in the world are we even going to start trying for a baby if I know that I have to go back to work? I was just desperate to find a solution of what I was going to be able to do once we had kids. That was where I was. Okay. So I could start my post off by saying, I remember 5 years ago, I sat on that couch and I was crying because I had no idea how I was going to, go back to teaching after I had my kid. I told you guys the whole story right there in the first bit of that post, right? Like, no need to really follow anymore, because you kind of got the general gist of it. But instead, I could say, I remember it like yesterday. I was sitting on that horrible brown couch, bawling with tears in my eyes. And I looked at my husband and I told him, how in the world am I going to make this work? How can we have a baby if I don't know what comes next? Okay. And so you're like, immediately, right? You're like, well, I got to figure out what happened. Like, what is she talking about? Like, what does she mean? Why was she crying? Why was this emotional for her? So you can see how a hook kind of draws somebody in, and it gives just a little bit of what the story is. So an easy way to think about this is something that you would use more in a post where you want to share something that's a story, right? You want to share something that is of value, that's going to connect with people. And don't worry, we're going to talk about all the different types of posts that you make on your feed in just a minute. But so to start with this, if you're struggling with thinking about how would I start with a hook, think about a story that you want to share. Okay. I'm sure you have one very similar to mine. Maybe it's about when you became a coach, or maybe it's an experience that you've been through or gone through. And instead of right there saying this in that first little stanza, instead of there saying the whole entire story, write out that whole story and then take the middle of it and make that the top of your post. Make that the piece that then takes people back into the story with you. So you're going to see all this a little bit more in just a minute, but that's a hook. Okay. We're starting with that. We want to ask questions. We want it to raise questions. We want it to raise a feeling of, I need to continue reading this post. So here's a whole post that I've chopped up from our mastermind, and I'm going to show you the examples step by step. So here's her hook. It's exhausting showing up for your people when you're still trying to figure out how to show up for yourself, right? She's kind of been very vague with us. We know that she's exhausted, but now we want to know the whole story of why she's even starting this post with that. So then we head into the introduction. Okay, this is the I of the HICA formula. We've got the hook, we've got the intro. The intro is now where you introduce the rest of this post, the rest of this story. You transition now into the content of what you're here to tell them. Okay, you're introducing the problem. You're introducing the rest of your post. So here's the next part. A friend sent that to me the other day, and I took a full breath for what it felt like the first time in weeks. Oh, good, I thought, it's not just me. The truth is, I have no idea how to show up right now. I just know that I should. No idea how to cope with crippling anxiety and be a leader. I just know I should try. If you're in the same boat, here's what I know about what showing up as a leader looks like. Okay, so now she's given us the introduction. We've been hooked in. We now see what she's about to tell us in our post. And now we get to the content. The content is the step-by-step little bullet pointed list of how, right, she's going to tell us how does she continue showing up as a leader right now when she's dealing with anxiety, with feeling overwhelmed, and all of those emotions. So she's moved into the content now, and the content is where you help. The content is where now you've got to tell a little bit of your story, and now you're bullet pointing, telling them what are the things that they can do to actually fulfill this need. Okay, so a lot of times in this method, they recommend using bullet points so that it's quick and easy, right? You guys have seen posts. I like the posts that have little bullet points because I can see that it's easy for me to duplicate, and it's something that I can easily save and use. So her content after that, right? She's just now told us this is what showing up as a leader looks like. Leadership looks like sticking to your core values, like not knowing everything, but knowing that you know enough. And it looks like making mistakes, owning up to them, and moving forward anyways, right? 3 super simple things that to her, that's what defines what a leader is. And she's now giving us content, something that I can easily take away with as the reader. And then she's giving us a call to action. This is the last part of our HICA formula, okay? Giving a call to action. This can vary in length. It can be super long. I'm really wordy, so a lot of times I'm closing up my thoughts. And then I say, if you're looking for this, here's how you can do that. But you also can do, you guys, call to action should happen on every single post. Double tap. Leave a GIF if you want more. Leave an emoji if you feel this way too. Very, very simple things, but basically you're just asking for them to connect with you, because when you do that, that is a sale right there. And we're going to talk about that too. Okay, so those are some ideas of call to action. So hers is super, super long. She goes into talking about why leadership isn't perfect, but I don't know if you need what I need right now, but if you are, and if you're this person, if you're an entrepreneur looking for the interest in this, then I've got a free masterclass link in profile for you. And we'll be making the announcement at the end. So she gives us, a couple of steps. She kind of winds it down with a little bit closing of her story. But you can see how a call to action is put there. So here was her whole post, right? How perfect is it now to see it all together and see that she hooked us in with something very engaging in the beginning. She told us where that came from. She gave us a couple steps of content that is easy to take away. And then she closed it out for us, kind of laid it to rest and let us know the person that she's looking for. And if this is what they're needing, how they can get in touch with her and how they can be a part of that. Okay, so I want to show this to you live. I screen recorded a video of her doing this in our mastermind. I wanted to show you guys an example of this live in action. And I think this will help you. So let me know if you can hear this.
Hi, this is Sophie. Sophie's in the group. She's one of our icons. She's a phenomenal business coach. Here's an example of one of Sophie's recent posts. She said, give yourself a little break this weekend. Go for a walk, binge on Netflix, sleep until noon. Again, I want to show you how a lot of you guys are starting your posts with a closed loop, right? We get it. I'm going to give myself a break. Here's how I'm going to do it. And without even clicking the not really, I have the whole point of the post. So instead, we want to flip this. So here's an example. I would probably put this under like a shocking statement or like a funny surprise. Out of office reply, please hesitate to respond. Okay, so that's a surprising statement. It's, what did I call it at the beginning? Someone asked how to do like shocking twist. This would be a plot twist, right? Because you're expecting the out of office reply to say, please don't hesitate to respond. Because it says, please hesitate to respond. You're like, wait, I didn't see that one coming. That's an example of a shocking, unexpected twist. So this is a good way to kind of get people's attention and get an easy call to action in the beginning. Anyone relate? And you could even put anyone relate, y/and. Yes, no. That's an easy way for someone to engage with you. And now let's introduce this. She's speaking specifically to entrepreneurs. So maybe she says, as an entrepreneur, it can be really hard to slow down. We're acknowledging the problem that they're always going. But did you know, this is why it's important, that taking 72 hours completely off per week increases productivity by 15%? I made this up. This is a statistic I made up, but I'm showing you that we're showing people why this is important. Here are 3 ways to hit pause and reset for a productive week ahead. So what we did in this introduction is we acknowledged the problem that they're running too fast. We talked about why it's important that they change it because it will increase their productivity. And then we introduced what you're going to learn next, 3 ways to hit pause and reset. Okay, so then the content could be the same content she had before about going for a walk and binging Netflix, but I want to go a little bit deeper in each of them. So number 1 could be go for a walk, just like it was already in your content, but this is not necessarily teaching anybody anything new, right? So could you say, research shows that changing your environment, even just for 10 minutes, creates new neural pathways and will help you generate new ideas. Again, this is stuff I'm pulling out of nowhere and making this up. You're gonna find real facts to back it up, but you're teaching somebody something new. Yeah, they know they should go for a walk. Here's why it really is gonna matter to them in the bottom line. You can do that same thing for each of your 3 bullet points. You're going a little deeper for each one. And then finally, your call to action. Productivity challenge, because we know this is the goal. We know this is the vision. These entrepreneurs want to be more productive, right? That's why they're running so hard and stuck in this problem in the first place. In emojis only, what are you doing this weekend to set yourself up for a productive week ahead? Okay, this is such an easy call to action. If you ask people to get vulnerable in your comments or to type something out that takes a long time or makes them think too hard, they're not going to do it. So really easy call to actions are like answer in emojis only, double tap if you agree, leave a yes if you want more. I mean, you want to make this so simple for people to engage.
Okay, so hopefully you can see the difference. So when I go back to this first post, like how many of you guys make posts like this where you can go back now and look at your post and think, oh my gosh, I totally tell the whole story like right at the beginning. And maybe that's why I'm not getting any engagement. Maybe people are still continuing on and they could care less about what I say because I've already told them right there. So I love this idea. Let me go back. I'm probably going to have to find my PowerPoint again. Hold on. Getting there. Okay. So I love that idea though, because I like that it breaks it down for you. And imagine if all of your posts where you're sharing something vulnerable, you use this kind of formula to bring them in to create the content and then to give them a takeaway. Imagine how much would change over the course of time, even just doing this a few times a month to start slow. Imagine how much connection you would create with people and create content and things that they actually want to hear. Okay. So now you're probably still thinking like, how does this really help me at all? Like how is this, going to be helping me grow or helping me get more engagement? I promise it is. So just hang with me. Okay. So you've got really great content. How are you actually going to grow and find more engagement because of this? Okay. So this is what I deemed as the final 3x3. Okay. There are 3 types of stories that you can make and 3 types of posts that you can make. This was the most groundbreaking thing that I took away from this training. And it has made it so simple for me to start thinking about what I want to share. And it's super fun. Okay. So this is the final 3x3 for creating the best and most engaging feed and stories. So we're going to breeze by this one, but these are the 3 types of Instagram stories that you can make. Okay. So I've had this question a lot. So we'll go ahead and talk about this app right here. B-roll. This is what is quiet stuff, right? You're not talking to them. This is behind the scenes kind of video. This is just show them a moment that you wanted to capture of what you wanted them to see, but you're not actually talking to them or anything. This is where you would show the behind the scenes rolling and maybe tell a story over it, or maybe talk about things with it, but you're not sitting there talking to them. It's showing the whole moment, but it's very easy for someone to engage with and view, and it's enjoyable because they're not having to make sure their volume is up. They're not having to make sure that they're talking, and it's something simple, but it's very engaging to watch you go through your entire morning routine, or to watch you go through your entire workout a couple times a week and see all the different ways that you move. Or sometimes if I'm setting up activities with my kids, I'll do it there. And instead of, spending 15, 20 stories talking about my activities, that day I might not do that. And that day I might just do a B-roll, use the Hyperlapse app, and I'll just set it up far away and show me moving throughout my day in that space for that hour that I spent with my kids. And I take a small snippet of it to show B-roll footage, and I share a story then with the wording. The next type of story is talking head. Okay, this is your general selfie. This is where you take your phone and you prop it up on the windowsill or with a tripod. And it's very minimal distractions in the background. You want to have good lighting, and you want to be presentable. This may all seem very, what's the word? I can't think of the right word. Oh my goodness. Like where you're spending too much time on looks and things. I can't think of the word, but this is, you want to have a place where you are creating the most engagement. So this is talking in that sense. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Aubrey Vane. Like, yeah, you don't want to, you don't have to have your makeup all done and everything, but like you want to have good lighting, because no one wants to watch a story where you're like in your closet and it's all dark and they're like, okay, I really wanted to hear what she said, but that's so ugly to look at. So get by a light, get by a window, talk into the mirror, whatever it is. And you don't have to have all the fancy things, you guys. A new coach from day one can start doing this. Take your phone and literally stick it up on a shelf or on a windowsill. That is what I do half the time, and just talk to people. But this is where you want to keep it brief. This is where you are coming in, you have something specific to say, you add the words on the bottom, but you are telling them something. I think right now we still only have where it's 4 stories. So this would be where maybe you're talking about you have a mentorship and this is when it's happening, or you are open enrollment for your boot camp, or you are teaching them 4 steps to something. Okay. So this is that talking head straight at the face. Then static, this is posting still images. And this is something that I've been doing for a long time, but it's still good to, I've been changing things up. So posting still images in your photos. If you're out and about and you see a cool wall or a cool space in your home, or there's a place that you really like, take pictures of your places. Take pictures of your home, of your place, of outside, of things that you're doing, and use those as great backdrops in your, what's it called? In your feed, or in your stories, and let those be the background. It just creates a little bit of warmth. It creates it lets them see more of you. And it's also a great place for sharing stories, little snippets of your day, and just popping little things in. Okay. So that's quick Instagram stories. A lot of you guys already know that. But now this is what blew my mind, because for me, if you're anything like me, I often go to my page and I can do stories all day long, but post a lot of times, let me take a drink of water. Post a lot of times I'm like, dang, I don't even know what to share about. It's changed so much, you guys. When I was a new coach, our training was posting 3 to 5 times a day. Okay. By the 5th time of the day, I was posting like a water bottle like this. And I'm like, drink up, like I had nothing to share about. Okay. 3 to 5 posts a day is a lot. And it changed over the course of the years. Now, this is something that I thought was groundbreaking. So there's 3 types of posts that you can make. Write this down because we're going to divulge or, break them all down. Viral post, value post, and vulnerable post. And I love this because if you're not careful, you'll do a lot of just one and none of the others. And the beauty of it is when they all work together. And I'll share why in just a minute. Okay. So again, this is all just like so monumentally awesome. Okay, this is viral post. This is something that is new that I have been doing, and holy moly, I have been getting so much more engagement, so much more interaction, so many people sharing my things, so many more followers because of doing stuff like this. And this was something that I just didn't even think about. So here we go. Okay, viral post. This is content that is super easy to share. Okay. The goal of it is to get shared, is to get saved, is to bring new eyes to your stuff. It is for you to get found. Okay. But now the cool part is, like, if you're thinking, because I thought this when I was originally on my mastermind, I'm like, well, dang, like I don't really feel like I'm super innovative. I don't really feel like I've got a lot of funny quotes or things that would want to be saved and shared. But I'll try it. Okay, so she went into talking about all the different types of viral posts. Okay, so we've got tweets, which apparently is like the top performing thing right now. If you don't have a Twitter account, that's cool. Make one, and you just literally make it just to write your post on there and screenshot it. Okay, I just did that this week. Tweets, lists, or she calls them listicles. I had no idea that was an actual term. I'll show you that as well. Quotes and graphs. Okay, I'm going to show you examples of all these. Viral posts, though, you guys, these are the posts that easily get shared. These are the memes. These are the funny quote posts. These are all the black and white posts that you see all over Instagram getting shared, getting posted, getting reposted everywhere. Okay, this is the stuff that people want to see. It's also this stuff that is very easily shareable, which then brings eyes to your page. Someone shared something 10 different times. It may have been from this one account, but all 10 of those accounts are gaining new people and new followers because somebody different is sharing it. And their followers like that post. So they share it and they share it and they share it. Okay, so you're going to use stuff for these viral posts that is already working. Quotes that you've already seen, posts that you've already made. Could be something of mine, could be something of Shannon Motson, who posts on her page hilarious memes and little quotes and lists and graphs and tweets. Things that work with your vibe. This is again where you want to be thinking about your market. For me, I'm not going to share something like about politics because my people could care less about that. I'm not going to share something super like inappropriate or with like bad language on it because that's just not my people. Okay, like I might think it's funny, but my people don't. So I have to kind of think about what would work for my feed. But you're going to use stuff that's already working. Look at other accounts in your industry and use their high performing posts. So the way that you can do this is you can go on your feed and look at some posts that are doing well. Look at some people that are doing well in your industry. So obviously, we're in the fitness industry, but you could look at posts of other coaches, not for a lot, but I want you also to think about what are other posts of things that you engage with. So like for me, I love to share super inspiring, motivating quotes. So I'm going to go find some like the Boss Babe site, or I might go check out some of the Guide Culture girls because they share really awesome, inspiring, and empowering, like go-getter type post. Okay, so I'm going to go to their profiles, their feeds, and just click through and see what are some of their top performing posts. What are some of their posts that got the most comments, the most likes? Does that work for me? Like, does that post work for my people? Screenshot it. There it goes into my Planoly app. That's something that I'm going to share this week because that's going to be one of my viral posts. Okay, I didn't have to make it. I didn't have to recreate it. It's something that I'm going to give them credit to, right? So I'm going to use Kensley as an example. If I find a quote that she posted that I just absolutely loved, I'm going to screenshot that and I might post it and be like, double tap if you so feel this too, via Kinsley Sage. Okay. And I'm going to put that at the bottom and I'm going to give her credit. Okay. So this is something different than we have heard from other accounts. And I have seen it to be very, very valuable and actually very valid. So I'm sure that you've seen some people have trained a lot on taking posts, taking things that are, funny that you like, that you engage with, and recreating them into your brand, right? A lot of us do that, did that, still do that. Okay. That's not a bad thing, but hear me out. When you do that, it becomes less shareable because it has your brand on it, your colors, your scheme, your whatever. And it now makes it 10 times less shareable because somebody might not share it simply because they don't want to post that on their feed because it doesn't go with their stuff. So had it have been in the good old fashioned black and white, that's easily shareable by all the masses. And I was very hesitant of this when I was listening and trying this out because I have my whole color scheme. I've got my colorful photos. I've got my, my 10 different colors that I use on my feed for my posts with my funny quotes on them. And it's very interesting because over the last couple days, couple weeks that I've been sharing and doing and implementing this viral post idea, my post that I make with this format, 10 times more engagement. And you can see when you have a business or a content Instagram account, if you don't have that, you need to change that. Okay, so when you do that, you can then click on the insights and see how it's doing, right? And you can see that then against some of your other ones, and you can see how it was saved. on any given day, some of my quote posts that I would have posted with like my deep red background that goes with my feed or whatever, maybe would have gotten shared, 25 times, maybe saved 120 times. I'm talking like all these black and white ones, all the listicles, all the quotes and tweets that I did, like 10 times that, you guys, because it's simple and it's easy to share. And the mind just reacts to the black and white better than colors and you putting all of your other stuff on it, your logo, your everything. You're not going to do that anymore. We don't need to do that. That is okay. It's not about making sure that you have your brand on it. It's about getting people are coming to your page because they want to come to your page because they see a really cool quote. It doesn't necessarily matter who it's from, but they're coming to your page as they see it shared. So I know, stick with me. I know this is like overwhelming and you're like, what? Everyone told me different. Everyone told me to like put my brand on everything. But doesn't it make sense when you actually step back and think about it? Doesn't it make sense that it would be less shareable because it's like hot pink or dark green or whatever? That's very overwhelming to people and people will not share it. Just like myself, why did you want to create it, right? Why did you want to recreate it? Because it might have had some like hearts in the background, right? And so you wanted to put your own spin on it and make it your own way to fit with your feed. So when it's black and white, anyone can use it. Okay, so here we go. No logos. You can keep your black and white writing. Okay, that's what you want to do. But seriously, not even like super fancy. We're talking like the standard black and white that you see shared all over the place. That is the way to go. And that is the thing that creates viral posts. Okay, so let me just recap because I know I just talked about a lot. But one thing that is very important is you do want to give credit where it's due. So if I got something off the Boss Babe Inc., Instagram, they have really awesome, super empowering quotes. I might share it, right? And it's actually here, I'll show you some examples. Here we go. Okay, so this one, you're gonna boss up. You're gonna cry about it or boss up? First of all, I'm gonna do both. Okay, this is from a girl named Macy McNeely. She's also from Guide Culture. Now, if I was to post this on my feed, totally something that I would do, I would post it, right? And then in the comments right away, I would say via at Macy McNeely. And then I would go into whatever I want to talk about. It doesn't matter that I'm giving her credit where it's due because that's the right thing to do because it's hers that she created, unless you click on it and she's tagged, some other account, then I would tag the original account. But you just give credit where it's due. You can put your handle on the bottom of it, like down here, you can see, you can put your handle right here, but no crazy logos, no like big inspiration crew, like with an anchor and stuff, none of that stuff. That stuff doesn't get shared. That stuff is not simple enough to become viral. And what we're focusing on with viral content is the stuff that gets shared, the stuff that brings more people to your page. Okay, very, very simple. This is something that anybody could do, and it has nothing to do with go to this account, follow this many people, like this many photos, and comment on this many. Okay, so I just want you to try it out. This one right here that I did the other day, like just start thinking of things, and it might be overwhelming, but seriously, like just black and white is so simple. And just start thinking of things that your people would relate to. The other day I did this one. You guys, I've never had as much engagement on any post in my 5 years of coaching as I had on this listicle right here. I literally went into my notes app. I wrote out what it was that I do in my morning routine. I find a comfy space. I drink some water. I make a cup of coffee. I grab my notepad. I draw a line down the middle, 5 on the left, 5 on the right, 10 minutes in PD, journal my thoughts and prayers for 5 minutes, pray over my day. There's a very simple, quick thing to talk about mindfulness. I literally wrote it out on my phone, on the notes app, took a screenshot, posted it, had a little caption with it. And I've never gotten as much engagement on any post ever in my history of coaching. Okay. So this is a type of thing. So when I talk about the type of viral posting, we're talking about tweets. You guys see tweets like this. Okay. Right here. You guys see lists right here where you just go to your notes app and you create a list. Okay. It could be anything. Where you go to Canva and you create a little graph like this. Okay, here's some little graphs. Again, it's the same type of thing as a post, but you're just creating it in a different way to make it look different on your feed. And then, obviously quotes and things that you would put on your feed like normal. Okay, and some of these, obviously this isn't the normal black and white, but it's a very basic color. And for this specific girl who posted this, she's all about entrepreneurs and boss babes and girls. And a lot of those people are going to share this kind of post like that. Okay, so now Obviously, I'm not telling you to go like overhaul everything and change everything, but just hear me out and just think about this and just take it with a grain of salt, right? And maybe try it out. Okay. So, but this should be super exciting. Viral post is not something that you are creating. It is very hard to create viral posts. They go viral because they're funny, because they're meaningful, because whatever, and because they're shared a lot. So that is what this is. You're not creating this. You can, I mean, you can obviously for lists and things, but the quotes and the tweets and things like that, today, I think it was today that I did one where I just put a quote up of Trent Shelton from a PD that I listened to, a podcast, and I shared that, and that got great engagement. So you're not recreating the wheel. Don't overthink this. This is literally sharing things that work with your people onto your account, giving credit where it's due. If you got it from Shannon Monson or from Ashley Smith Fitness, give credit where it's due. And don't worry about that. That's going to be the last thing that people are looking at. They're looking at, oh my gosh, that is a freaking funny post. I got to share that. Right? So, yes, I'll find the template. So I'm looking at the chats. I'll look at the chat in a minute. I know there's a lot. Okay. So here we go. Any questions about viral content? Actually, I probably should just start first. I should stop for a second. Any questions about this? Aubrey, this is for post. So you can do this for stories too, I guess, obviously, but these 3 things that we're talking about right now, the viral, value, and vulnerable, we're talking about post right here, most specifically. Okay, so the credit where it's due is going in the comments, just a simple little via at and tagging the person. Okay. Other questions? And again, if it doesn't feel like you, that's okay. Try something that's close to it then. Like try something that is, maybe adds your pop of color still, but still feels like you. Just try different things. But the main idea is that you're going to share so many other things too, that this is not the end all be all. But if you want to grow and create engagement and get new people on your page, try this out. Try doing 15 viral posts like this for a month. And we're going to talk about how to create kind of a plan for a whole month of posting and just see what it would do. Okay. All right. So we're going to keep going. All right. Value post. Here we go. So this content, okay, a valuable post is content aimed to create a very tight bond with your followers who are already here. Okay, these posts are not to bring new eyes to your page. If you don't have new eyes, you can't just post a whole thing with really great content and stuff and expect for just all these people to all of a sudden flood to your page. Of course, you might get a few, right? If you hashtagged morning routine and somebody was looking for morning routine and they somehow found your post, they looked at your page and then they gave you a follow. That's awesome. That can happen. But this is to love on and to cultivate the relationships that you already have on your page. So the goal here of valuable posts, we had our goal up here, right? Our goal was to get shared, saved, and bring new eyes to our page. But for value, our goal is to connect on a deeper level. We want to connect with deeper value, and we want to create a relationship with them that makes them see the value of staying with you, of staying as a follower, and of saving things. Okay. So this is the perfect place to go back to that HICA formula, to catch them in, to tell a little bit of a story, to give them some bulleted content, and then to give them a little call to action of whatever it is that your main purpose of this was. Okay. And now another awesome place for this, or another awesome thing to use for this, is now to go back to when I asked you guys to stop for a minute and think of what was that list of all these problems. What was the list of all the things that your people struggle with? The list that I showed you of the polls that I did. That is where you go from this. And I'm going to show you like a little graph here in a second. But that's where you're going to go, and that's where you're going to create valuable posts. If somebody says, I'm just constantly feeling behind and overwhelmed and I can't get my day started on the right foot. Bam, there's a problem. Know what my next post is going to be about, or a post that I can make is about my morning routine. 5 simple steps to create a morning routine out of nothing. Or maybe it's that people are really struggling hard to work out because their kids are awake and they feel all the mom guilt. Okay. Next post that I could make. 3 reasons why mom guilt is bullcrap. Okay. And why working out is actually awesome for your kids, or whatever you want to say. I'm not good at thinking on the spot, but you get the idea, right? I'm taking that list of problems and I'm turning these into valuable posts. These value posts are where you teach something, you give a new perspective of how to look at something. These are your inspiring and motivational type things. Okay. So I'm going to use Kensley as an example, because she made an awesome post the other day or the other week. And I loved this. Okay. And she kind of used that HICA formula. And she also gave bulleted points with cute little white hearts. Okay. So she's talking about, she gives us a little, line in, she's giving us this inside dialogue in her head. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get up. Like, how many people can relate to that, right? Thinking of laying in bed and being like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get up. I've got this. I can do this. Okay. And then she goes into the little bit of a conversation about what's going on, right? You look over at your phone, you realize you overslept again. Again, how relatable is this? Okay, she's being super relatable. Here are some things that you can do to help you get out of bed on time. She goes in, she gives us the bullets, right? Obviously, go to bed at a reasonable hour. Like, duh, right? That's so simple. But she now went to Google and found out why sleep is so important, or why is it good? Why is it important to go to bed at a reasonable hour? She could have found 15 different things right there of why it's a good idea to go to bed and get this many hours of sleep. She takes a couple things from there and she puts it in as a reason underneath there. People who are sleep deprived have a harder time receiving information due to brain's overworked or fatigued neurons. Like, obviously, she might not have known that, but Google knows that. So take your simple steps of how you do the different things in your day, or the bullet points that you want to give them, and then go and research and find out why that would be even better. Why is taking a walk awesome? Things like that. Okay. So this was just an example I wanted to show you. Now, this is what we have been taught to do. And this is something I have started doing and I have on my wall in my office. Okay. But on a piece of paper, like on your notepad that you have right now, just like kind of, just jot this down. Okay. So write problem on the left, title in the middle, and then outline on the right. Okay. And I know you're probably thinking like, holy whatever, how in the world, like, this is going to take so much time. But you guys, literally just think about this as something that is actually going to create so much more time in your schedule when you start to plan ahead some posts that are really valuable, how much more confident you're going to feel sharing things that you know are going to help people. And it's just going to be awesome. Okay. So just bear with me here. Okay, so you've got your problems. This over here is where your list of problems goes. So they taught us this sticky note formula, which I love, and using a little sticky note. So each problem goes on a sticky note, right? Too expensive, not enough time, mom guilt, too exhausted by the end of the day, all the different problems. And you're just going to stick those on sticky notes here. And what you do is turn it into something, right? And I kind of gave this example already, right? Of, like, mom guilt is my problem. Okay, 5 ways to ditch the mom guilt and feel like, and feel more empowered. Or 5 ways to create a badass morning routine. Think of things that are catchy. This is kind of like that clickbait feel. Like, think of, like, when you go to click on an ad that pops up in Facebook, like, why do you click on it even though you know that you're probably not going to love anything? But you're still like, but I got to see what this is, because they're so good at that. Think of email headings. Those are all good ideas of how to create little titles for yourself of how you're going to create this type of post. Okay. So again, this was our valuable post. Okay. These are the things where you're taking someone's problem, taking the problems that you're hearing. And this is where you guys, we get to serve and customize what it is that you want to talk about, that you want to serve other women with. Like, how cool is that? How much more tangible does this make it to be a place that you get to better serve other people? Okay, the last thing is vulnerable post. Okay, this is the last type of post. All right, this is the content used to create an even deeper connection with your followers. Why do they care about being here in the first place? Okay, this is where you're going to aim to get the comments and the DMs. Okay, this is where you are talking to them, you are sharing with them a personal story, you are connecting with them. You can use that HICA formula to kind of share that internal dialogue that maybe you had in some type of conversation. But this is where you're using your personal experiences to share. And so this is often what a lot of us do, right? Like, I do vulnerable posts all the time where I'm talking about a transformation or things like that. And so these are the ones that are really, really good. These are where you're just kind of sharing your heart and opening up and connecting with people in a way that makes them feel themselves in your shoes. Okay, so these are your personal experiences, and I'm not going to dive in that much to them because that's just a bunch. Now, final thoughts, because I know that this is a lot. But I hope that it gives you guys some ideas of, like, wow, you're right. Like, if I would focus on more of what I'm doing to serve people and more of what I'm doing to connect with people and give people rather than just talking about myself, imagine how much more engagement and people that would want to stick around would be there. You might get more comments, you might get more likes on stuff, you might actually get people filling out your polls. And I would dare to say that if you're struggling to even get people to answer your polls or to answer your question things, you're not giving enough. So how can you give more? You should be giving 90% and 10% asking, so that you are giving constant freebies, giving tips on morning routine, makeup tips, meal prep tips, anything that your people would be excited about. And then bam, this is like that, jab, 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 right hook thing. And then bam, that 10% of the time, that's where you're asking for something. You're asking for them to answer this question for you, or answer this poll, or comment on this, or, fill out this form here. But the more that you give, and add value, people will see that, people will connect to that, they'll want to stick around, they want to bring more people to your page, and then they're actually going to connect with you. They're actually going to fill out that form or fill out that poll that you're asking them to connect with. So if you're struggling to get that engagement, you're struggling to even get people to do that, you're not giving enough. So don't blame it on anything else other than taking that next step of, okay, I can control this. How can I share and serve more? Okay. So if you were to take away from this and want to try all these things that I just like blew your mind with, I would think about how if you were to think of a whole month's worth of things, you would have 15 value posts, 10 viral posts, and 5 vulnerable posts. Okay, so the ones that are the vulnerable ones, those are the ones that honestly you probably shared before. So go like scroll down for a couple minutes into your feed and pull one out and repurpose it this month. Okay, we're about to approach the end of April, so head into May and put that somewhere. Okay, find 5 vulnerable things that you can share with people to connect with them, let them feel your heart, let them feel why you so want to serve them. Your viral post, start looking around, start looking on pages, you can go on Pinterest, you can go on Google and type in, like funny entrepreneur post, or like mom guilt memes, or boss babe tweets, all the things that would work for you. Don't try to be anybody else but yourself. So think about things that you would enjoy seeing, think about the things that you share, and throw all the worry about what your feed looks like, about all the perfectness of everything looking perfect and the colors and all that stuff. Throw that out the window just for this month and just try it. Okay, this is really hard for me. And there were so many of us that were like ticking, like like listening to them talk and share this with us, because we're like, what? Like the feed, the black and white and the no logo and not my color scheme anymore. And they're like, just trust us. And so as we're all starting to try this out, I was like, I have to tell my team this. I have to train them on this. So I have done probably a much poorer job than hopefully I can get Shannon to speak on a call for us. But I have done my best job at reiterating some of the top things that I took away from creating just really awesome engagement on your feed. And so take this with what you will. And if you want to implement it, awesome. Watch it again, try it. I'm going to try to create a little PDF for everyone to just kind of fill out and be able to save and kind of plan out your month. But imagine what your month would look like if you really started to, over the course of the week, just start slowly trying to pull off some things. Start slowly trying to dig into the minds of the people that you're connecting with. Like, what do they want? What do they need? What kind of valuable things could you share with them? What kind of valuable things could you go and Google and create awesome content for them? This is not about knowing all the things. And that's why I love it so much, because even a new coach, you guys, can do this. Even a new coach can say, okay, like I've heard this objection, this problem. I'm going to go and I'm going to think of 5 things of why that is not true. And then I'm going to provide value underneath them. Okay, anyone can do this. And so I hope that this was kind of like mind blowing, but also just something that you're like, ooh, I kind of want to try this and just test it out. Even if you just start with some little viral content things, that's kind of what I've started with, and starting to kind of slowly turn my posts more into value posts instead of just sharing right? Instead of just sharing, but also telling a little bit of a story and then giving some kind of feedback and content they can take with them. Okay, questions. I'm going to look in the chat really quickly. Kinsley, where's Kinsley at? Kinsley, do you want to share anything? Kinsley has been rocking it. She took this, is taking in the process of taking this mastermind with me, and also is a student of the guide culture, as I think Aubrey is also. Yes.
Give me just a second. My child is screaming in the background, so let me grab some headphones.
Okay, you're fine. Okay, let me look and see if there's any. You guys can unmute yourself. Feel free to, if you have a question. I'm scrolling up to see what I missed.
I have a question.
Yeah. Hey, Aubrey.
Hi.
Hey,
So
girl.
I am also in this training, but I think I'm like base level of it. But question, when you're saying what serves your audience more, how did you go back and kind of audit what your clients react to more? Did you base it just off the likes? Did you base it off the comments? Did you post lots of polls and questions to say, what do you want to see more of? Was it, you know what I mean? Like, how did you go back and audit what they followed more?
Totally. So yes, going back and looking at like, what are you like, just like tonight, you guys, while you're laying in bed before you go to bed or whatever, just kind of scroll through and look at your posts. Like, look at like what's gotten more likes than others. What have people commented on more? Like, it's really easy to see that. And then obviously polls and just questions, things that I've had conversations with people in my DMs about, there's always an overwhelming, especially as you get into more of your coaching journey, there's always an overwhelming amount of people who have very, very similar problems, issues, whatever it is that they're struggling with that you'll start to see over time. So things that I was having conversations about, obviously doing a poll like I did was really eye-opening to see like just so many simple things that I'm like, no, but if you would just tell me that, like I could speak to that. Right. So I think just over time doing that and auditing yourself, and then also thinking, you could also ask a friend too, like look at, have a friend kind of look at your feed and think about like, what could you, if I asked you, like, what is your deep conviction of what you want to share with people on your page? And then you have me go to your page and I look at it and I tell you, I mean, I don't see that anywhere, right? So that would be like an eye-opening thing. Like, okay, so I know that I need to share more about like my desire to help women with this or with that. And so that's kind of where you can start with kind of figuring out what are some of those things. And you guys, this is a process. This isn't like you're going to wake up tomorrow and have all this figured out. So I don't know if that helps, Aubrey. What else? Anything else? Let's see. Okay. I'm looking down.
Sorry, I didn't proofread anything I posted, so it probably didn't make any sense.
Oh, I'm still scrolling down. Okay, hold on. Did you just ask a question?
No, I just said a lot of nonsense. Don't worry.
Oh. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm recording this. Someone asked what the hiccup thing was. I talked about it up there. Okay. Did I just overwhelm you guys too much?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Realistically, going about it, I work full time and all my coaches do. Like going at the approach of the time it takes to make this. I tried the 30-day post. The time to actually sit there and do it is easy for me because I don't have kids or anything to do right now because I'm in quarantine. But on a real, like making it so it's not overwhelming, I try to do the 7-day approach. So like breaking that 30 down to 7 days, would it be like 2 virals or 3 virals? Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of it that way.
However you want to. And there's no like perfect formula, so, if you look at your feed, like some people want it to be like, obviously everyone has their own feel of how they want their things to look, like picture, and then maybe your white quote, and then this, and then that. It's totally up to you. What I would do is like, just look at a calendar literally and write out like viral, whatever, valuable, whatever. Cause you might have different and then for a week ahead, fill it in that way.
I guess I got another question then. So the color wheel to the viral is like now, like, you know what I mean? Now we have to start connecting that color wheel and going into it. So like that gap is where I feel like a lot of people are going to struggle, I guess, with like that connection. Like, okay, so these are the 7 things I have about me that I'm sharing regularly. How do I kind of go into it? So like actually just saying that might have helped a lot of people, but that's like the transition we're making from going from our color wheel to like the way we connect with people to making it more different variety.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily abandoning that, but I mean,
No,
I
I meant intertwining them.
Yeah, definitely intertwining them. And this is not like a Beachbody training. This is something totally different. This is like literally focused on social media, focused on a different way to view engagement and Instagram, and something that I feel like people who want a little bit more control of things, like that can be something really exciting to you. And I know it's overwhelming to think about creating posts, but when I think about posting and I just think about like wanting to just throw something up, it really takes the pressure off of me, because I'm like, I'm not going to post that because that like really does nothing. Of course, still share, it's a little bit different than if we were like a business, right? And we, weren't supposed to share like family things and stuff like that. But because you guys all, we are all about being all encompassed and sharing our families and sharing the things that are, that make us us, still do that. I still toss in pictures of my kids and little things like that, but I'm always in the back of my mind just kind of thinking like, could this be a quote that I could post with that? Or how can I just share that in a way that just relates a little bit more to my people? So don't abandon everything. But hopefully this gives you an idea. Even just like the idea of viral posts was just like mind blowing to me. Cause I'm like, that's such a smart thing that I never would have thought of. And what a great way to get new eyes on your page, because you're sharing things that are just what people want to see. Right. So as I think of more ideas and things like that, every time I learn more stuff, I will share with you. And that's why this was just mind blowing to me. And I had such a great experience learning it. And so I think that's why I had to share it. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to talk about this. So I don't know if Kinsley is back on. Oh yeah. Are you back on? Is there anything you want to say?
Yeah.
Because she's been doing this as well.
Okay. So I think I've done like 3 to 5 posts since learning this whole like HICO formula and everything. And it is mind blowing. It has helped me just get more excited about content creation and not feel so paralyzed, because for me, consistency in posting has been one of my like weaknesses. And so taking this like post-it strategy too, which I had learned from Shannon a while ago. She has really awesome like mini trainings too on her Instagram. You guys should go check out too, because she's amazing. But just learning like the post-it formula and how to do that, I found that from like one problem, like I don't have room to work out at home. Like that could be a problem for somebody, or I can't work out because I have kids, or I'm on a budget. How do I eat healthy? You can take those problems and turn them into like 20, I kid you not, like 20 different posts differently, from vulnerable, viral, and value. And it's amazing what you can do with just that. The other day I was working on one of these posts, or just today I was working on a post. I haven't done it yet, but I'll post it here after the call. But I took something that has really helped me and I turned it into a way to make it to help somebody else, to give them value. And I'm writing out the post as if I'm talking to like my best friend who I haven't seen in forever, which is actually true. And we're quarantined. And so it's like, I'm talking to her and I want to give her the most value that I possibly can. And so just like picture that friend in your head that you want to help and that you know needs your help, and write it to her, and don't talk about you at all. It needs to be like, don't say the word I, say you or we or us, or think about it to like writing it to them or talking to them, which Ashley you've talked about a lot in like your past how to write content in the past. And so that's just something that's really helped me out. And I was super overwhelmed. Okay. No, I'm not like totally guilty, feeling really overwhelmed afterwards. So don't think I've like got it all like together with this whole strategy, because I don't. And after the call, I texted Ashley and I was like, oh my gosh, I have nowhere, like what do I do? My mind, literally the emoji was coming to life like 1,000 times. And it was just, it was crazy. And so I took a minute. So just take tonight. Don't even think about this the rest of the night. Take tonight, sleep on this, come back tomorrow and be like, okay, I want to work on like 1 or 2 of the things that Ashley talked about tonight, and start there. Do not overwhelm yourself, because it will overwhelm you if you think about this too much. Just start thinking about all the objections. Just write down all the objections, work on that throughout the weekend, and then start working on like, okay, what do I want to talk about first? what's relevant right now with COVID and everything that's happening. Think about that kind of content, because we want to be speaking to what's going on in the world, but make it relatable and valuable. And so, I mean, I could talk about this for hours, but that's kind of just where I'm at right now. Don't get overwhelmed. Do like one thing at a time. It's going to take a while, but doing all of this like deep dive work, it really does save you time, and it makes you so much more confident in the long run.
Yes,
For sure.
Could not agree more. And it's just the fun part. Like to me, it kind of just reminded me again. I don't know if you guys, especially if you've been a coach for a while, like it's easy to feel kind of stale in what you share, but it's been really awesome for me to start thinking of like new ideas, what I want to share. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm still here 5.5 years later because I genuinely love what I get to share with people. And so I'm like, I need to start serving them more in that way too. So, let it get you excited about what you're passionate about and how you can turn that into a post that someone could take with them. I'm sure you guys literally could think of something right now, each of you, something that you do in your day that helps you. It could be, it could be anything, and turn it into something that you could share. Ask your people, would you be interested in me creating a 5-step, something on how to do this? And you're probably going to get people who say yes, and then turn it into that. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It's just something simple. If it helps you, it's going to help somebody else. So
yeah. And even if they don't respond back to your polls, which guys, I know that doesn't like, I get that too. I get a lot of spam and like random people posting on my polls. But even if like you don't get good interaction on your polls, if it's something that has helped you or is helping you, think about it in that third person point of view, like you're talking to your girlfriend, and do it anyway, because there's going to be somebody else out there who is having the same issues, but they just didn't want to tell you. So just do it anyway and give them that value, even if they don't interact with you, because they're going to thank you later. And you got to think long term. It's not a sprint. This is a marathon. It's a long-term view. And so even if they don't interact with you, do it anyway, because they're going to come around, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 2 years from now. I mean, Ashley has had this, and a lot of the top leaders and some of our other coaches on the call right now will tell you that they have talked to somebody, and then like a year later, they're finally like, oh my gosh, okay, like, yeah, I want to do this or whatever. So just keep in mind, it's going to be hard at first. Don't get bogged down if people aren't interacting with your stuff and be like, oh, well, this didn't work, I'm going to give up. Keep doing it, because it's going to pay off.
Yep, it's that idea of serving, and then asking for something. So I hope this is helpful, you guys. I hope that you're excited to just try something new. If you have any questions, I'll post this recording and the PDF in the team page after this, or once it loads. And if you have questions, just DM me, for real. I'm totally all ears. So I hope you guys are excited. And my challenge to you is to just think of something. Try to write out one viral, one vulnerable, and one value post for the next week or so, and just see how that goes, see what you can do to serve people, and just find the fun in what we get to do, you guys. This is the fun part. Like, yeah, we work out. Yeah, we drink awesome shakes that taste like milkshakes, but the real true awesomeness of what we get to do is that we get to serve other people and talk about the things that we're excited about, the things that make us tick, that we want to change about our world. And that's just really super cool. So hang on to that. Good luck. And I hope this is helpful. See you guys. Bye.